Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Audie. The O has been purchased by Amazon.
That's just sad.
Yeah.
Also, I said welcome back again.
Stop welcoming them back.
Like, if you're listening to this right when it gets released, welcome back because you pay money to us, and you're a Ko-fi subscriber. But
unless you're a Ko-fi subscriber, but you've never listened to us before.
That would be crazy. Why would you subscribe to someone on Ko-fi?
Because...
like, at Goetia tier 2.
You love us.
But why would you love us if you've never listened to the podcast?
You love the idea of us.
There's probably someone that would do that out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, today we're talking about Level Up Con updates.
Yeah, this is a convention that happened in the end of April. So if you're not on Ko-fi, then by the time you're getting this, it's I realize now it's been a little while since Level Up Con.
Yeah.
But you still should be hearing this before any of the stuff from Level Up Con becomes relevant.
Right.
So you'll still get our early takes on it. Yeah, there were sort of two big things to come out of this con. One is the announcement that Amazon and Spindle are partnering for Helluva Boss,
which is crazy.
We have conflicting feelings on.
Yeah, but it's also just a crazy thing to be like, here's a short little 3-minute animated thing to announce, by the way.
I was really curious because I was looking at, like, the events at the con before it happened, trying to see, like, are they going to give, like, a trailer? Like, what are we going to get from this con? And I kept seeing the panel that was, like, Helluverse updates, and I was like, that's so vague. And then this came out. I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that, and then later in this episode, we're also gonna talk about the short that they showed the first 2 minutes of. So we'll give you some warning before we get there, but if you don't want spoilers for that, since it's not out yet and it was like revealed at the con, then don't listen.
Yeah, we're pulling from like a poor quality recording of the screen from the con. Where people are also screaming over it. So if you don't want that kind of experience and you're not going to watch that, you might want to wait till it comes out.
It's actually quite a good quality video.
Oh, no, you're right.
Especially compared to the videos that came out of Level Up Con last year.
No, yeah, now I'm actually looking at the quality.
I could actually hear every word being said also.
Most words being said.
If I rewound, I could make out every single word.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's not like when the trailer came out.
Yeah.
At a Level Up Con and it was like blurry
or when I see him tonight when it was like, oh my god, we need to analyze these lyrics for the podcast. What are any of these fucking lyrics?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this
is actually pretty good. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a hater, I guess.
You're a hater. You hate.
But yeah, the big thing, Amazon Spindle partnering.
Yeah.
For the remaining 2 seasons, full episodes, they are very clear.
Yeah.
Full creative control supposedly still remains with Vivzy. I think it's kind of interesting that it's Vivzy specifically.
Yeah,
not the team, not Spindle.
They said Vivzy.
Yeah. They didn't say Vivzy, but they showed a little picture of her. A little blitz drawing of her.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But they said, like, partnering with Spindle and then this it is in charge. Like...
Yeah. I don't think that's something to read too much into. I think
it's interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about this show, when we're, like, talking about our issues with it, we do tend to address Vivzy, even though we know that she's not the sole
Yeah.
she doesn't have
but we've said verbatim a lot of times now that, like, when we say Vivzy, we are usually saying, like, Spindle as a whole.
Yeah.
Because we know that, like, even if an issue stems from her, it is a whole team thing.
Yeah.
But she has full creative control, and it is actually her.
Yeah.
That kind of changes our statements on that.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. And I did say that they at least have to have somewhat of controlling Spindle or Vivzy because Blitz just referred to Amazon as Daddy Amazon.
Daddy Amazon.
Which...
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this first of all raises the question of, do we think this is true that they'll maintain full creative control? I think they certainly have it now, otherwise they wouldn't have said, but is that gonna change? Because it's still gonna be a while before this show is complete.
Yeah.
So in, like, the years or however long until the show is over, maybe that control will change hands.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder, like, what does full creative control mean and how long will it last? So, like, full creative control, is Vivzy going to actually, like, vouch for keeping to indie roots and, like, accessibility of it outside of Amazon and things like that. Like, I think the accessibility probably, but like, I don't know. I could see it twisting into some more similar style to Has Been in ways that we've talked about we don't like. And Vivzy not putting up a fight to that because Has Been so popular, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I feel like, and a lot of people disagree with us on this, to be fair, but Helluva is definitely the stronger show, and so I'm interested to see if that will change, and I don't want it to.
I think even, and this is going to be really controversial, I know, but I think that the animation of Helluva Boss second half of season 2 compared to season 1 of Has Been, which was fully funded.
Yeah.
I think Helluva Boss is way better.
I agree.
So I hope that we don't get a funding increase but a quality decrease. Because then why the fuck did we do this?
No, exactly.
Not we. I don't. It's not me, but
because indie animation, you know, oftentimes underfunded and short-staffed. Although as far as indie animation goes, Spindleverse was one of the biggest, you know, at least in the YouTube genre of indie animation.
And they were doing really good.
Yeah, which also raises questions for me. I mean, you know, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, like how much money they were actually pulling in and stuff. I'm sure in many ways it does come back to money, and you know, you can't fault them.
But I
for
mean,
that.
look how much they sell merch for and how quick it sells. Like, it's not like there's no income coming in.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder how necessary this was. We'll get into the crossover potential, but I'm wondering how much of it was for that. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people, because they do exist in the same universe, so it was a bit of like a unbalanced thing that they weren't actually owned fully by the same people. I would have preferred that they both stayed independent than both go to Amazon.
The corporation.
I
also think, like, it doesn't. There's so many other ways you could explain why they don't have crossovers. Like, they're not set in the same timeline.
Yeah.
They're not, like, maybe they're not in the same universe. Maybe it's alternate universe bullshit. Like, there's so many other ways that if you really wanted to keep it indie that you could.
Yeah.
I think crossovers is really cool, and I understand, like, creatively why that might be appealing, but also it does kind of feel like a cash grab.
It does.
Because it's like, oh my god, we're gonna have crossovers. Keep watching.
Yeah, it feels like, I put a little question on our story on Instagram when this news first dropped and just asked for people's, like, preliminary feelings about it, and wonderful listener Jessica, a friend of the pod, responded, I think, like, cautiously optimistic, but didn't want it to be like an MCU kind of thing.
And that's kind of how it feels.
And that's exactly how it feels. I don't want it to be crossovers for the sake of crossovers. Jessica had some fun ideas about, like, you know, potential ways that it could be interesting as, like, a one-off thing here and there.
Yeah.
And I totally see that. And I'm, like, excited that possibility exists, but I don't know that that's how they're going to use it. And so it's hard to actually feel excited.
Yeah, and this is jumping ahead of... Or no, it's not. In the thing, Blitz mentions Angel. He says Angle Dust specifically. Yeah. And then Charlie's like, shh, don't spoil it. Yeah. And then also Angel's the only one that's not at the end. Well, not the only one, but Husk is there and Angel's not, which was weird to me.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that Angel's going to be the first crossover in, or at least, like, in Helluva Boss. And that also makes me wonder, is there going to be Helluva Boss characters in Has Been, or is it just going to be because Has Been's the more popular and more cash grabby one that they're going to start putting the characters into Helluva Boss so people watch Helluva Boss?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like it's going to go, and I don't like that because it's taking away from the integrity of the show. Yeah, but anyway.
And also, if I can cut in, they're going back to what you said about how they could have, you know, taken place at different times. I think that would... Not only is that something they could have done, I think it would have been so much more interesting because fundamentally they're just such different stories. Like, same universe, but so different.
I genuinely don't think it makes any sense for them to be in the same timeline.
No.
Because we never hear about the exterminations in Helluva Boss. Yeah. And we 100% would if they were literally a cause of war. Yeah. Like...
And now it feels like they're going to be, like, backpedaling to include that more. But that's like, no, we should just commit. You know, we're 2 seasons in.
And these are 2 separate shows.
And granted, we don't know how long they've had this in the works, like this deal with Amazon, but for a show that is Helluva Boss, that is 2 seasons down out of its 4-season total run, this just feels like such a big change for, like, the future of the show.
Yeah.
That is not, and considering they've said, like, they have the whole show mapped out from start to finish, so it's like, well, were these potential changes accounted for when you did that?
Yeah.
Or is a lot of stuff gonna change now in a way
Yeah.
that's, like, rushed and not polished?
And also, like, it's not just that it's, like, really late, like, literally halfway through the production process, because it's 2 out of 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But then also, there's no good reason why.
No.
Like, crossovers, sure. Funding, sure. There was already funding. Crossovers, really not necessary.
No.
Could be harmful
Yeah.
to, like, the plot, especially where it's all been planned out already.
Yeah.
So why?
Why?
Like, I just don't get it.
I can't.
I know that a lot of people are excited about it, but...
I feel like we need to think critically.
Yeah.
And also, Amazon already had Hazbin Hotel, and that's not something we've really talked about negatively before, because that, like, happened before we started our podcast.
Yeah.
But Amazon sucks,
Yeah.
to state the obvious. And so, and for this show that's all about, like, you know, queerness, well, not about queerness, but, you know, these shows
But
that...
this show is directly about class. That's
Yeah,
kind of the
yeah.
thing. Like, has been... I can understand it's not, like... Like, there is kind of, like, fuck authority and government.
Yeah.
But not as much, like, fuck capitalism.
Yeah.
Whereas Helluva Boss is directly about class, directly about money, poverty, things like that. Even, like, racial divide.
Yeah.
And Amazon is, like, one of the biggest perpetrators of all, like...
It kind of feels like a slap in the face. It kind of
Yeah.
feels like, how am I supposed to take any of the messaging from the show seriously when this is the truth of it now? And it's being marketed as this, just like, woohoo, we're this is such a big deal for indie animation, like, we're partnering with Amazon. It's like, can I, before you, because
Unleash, yeah.
I agree with you, to be clear with what you're about to say.
Yeah.
I understand where they might have been coming from with the idea of, like, you know, we get to work with this big studio now, and we started as indie animation, so that's a big step forward for other people in the world of indie animation. But
they're still calling it indie animation.
they're still calling
Helluva Boss indie animation specifically.
If you are working with Amazon, you are
You're
no
not
longer
indie. I think it's also like I think it was hard to even consider them indie at the point that they were at, because they had significant enough profit, they had a big enough fan base.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that it was still, like, you know, free.
Still free, still independent.
So, like, that's indie, but
Yeah.
now there's going to be an access barrier. Not for everyone, but there is going to be a 1 month access barrier.
Yeah, I don't think we said that explicitly yet. Helluva Boss episodes, when they start up again, they're going to be released on Prime, Amazon Prime first, and then on YouTube a month later. We're not going to acknowledge that's what we do on Ko-fi. That's different.
No.
We are independent.
But yeah, you're not indie, and that's another thing. That's one of the big things that irks me about Has-Been, where they're like, sticking to our indie roots, and you're fucking not.
No, you're not.
No, you're absolutely not. You're, first of all, you're sticking to the very, very, like, corporate media company 8-episode season structure.
Yeah.
You are with the corporation. Like, you're just not indie.
You're putting money in Jeff Bezos' pockets.
Yeah. And then it's like, people are going to buy a Amazon Prime subscription, pay Jeff Bezos money to watch a show about class divide.
Yeah.
That is so fucked up.
That's fucked in the head. It's like, how tone deaf and
like, we know they're kind of tone deaf.
We know they're tone deaf, but this
is worse.
Fundamentally tone deaf in
Yeah.
a way that...
It's also tone deaf, like, in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, this is a thing that's actively, like, this, like, Amazon is gonna profit a shit ton off of this.
Yeah. It's that we're not just speaking hypotheticals here. They are Amazon and Jeff Bezos, a shithead, are going to make real money off of this show. Now, is it, like, a substantial amount compared to how much he already has? Probably not.
Yeah.
But...
And, like, is the Spindle Horse team that is full of great creatives gonna make a lot of money? Sure.
Sure.
But also, there's other ways to do that. And also, I don't believe that they're not already making a significant amount of money off of Helluva Boss.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, other than, like, you know, I don't know how much Amazon, like, bought partial rights to the show for. I'm sure that was probably a lot. But in terms of how much they're going to make once the show is, like, streaming on Amazon, I cannot imagine it's much more than they're already making on YouTube. It's basically, it's just going to be in 2 places now. So it's more in that sense.
But especially, too, like, I think people underestimate how much, like, ad revenue is on YouTube when you're that big. Yeah, when you're that big. Like, because people not only how many people watch the episodes when they come out with them, people rewatch the episodes and they make edits about them. So I don't know an exact number, but I guarantee they're making a lot.
I'm going to Google how much money do you make from YouTube ads, which I Googled recently because I'm doing YouTube now and I'm almost monetizable. That's AI overview. I'm not going to look at that. For every 1,000 views, a YouTuber can expect to earn between $10 and $30. And these are earning tens of millions of views.
Yes.
So let's do some quick math here. Ready? This is Math Hour with Audie and Alex, okay? Welcome.
Pulling out the iPhone calculator. As we're shitting on corporations.
Yeah. So we're going to take the average. We're going to take $20, right? So a million divided by 1,000, I should be able to do that in my head, but I can't. So 1,000.
1,000, yeah.
So times 20. So for every million views, they're making $20,000.
Yeah.
Let's look at the most popular episode of Helluva Boss.
Or even just the most recent.
Or the most recent?
Yeah,
Let's
do
Sins
Miss.
Okay. Helluva Boss.
Sorry for the little silences while we're looking things up.
14 million, and that's from 4 months ago.
Yeah.
14 million views in 4 months.
So
that is $280,000. And look,
that's just from ad revenue. That's not from merch. That's not from cons. That's not from like supplemental content.
That is for one episode out of 20 total, not including shorts even. That raises. I wonder what the shorts are. Those still going to be YouTube exclusives or?
That's a really good question. Like, I mean, I would assume. I assume the one in June at least, like at a minimum.
Yeah.
But yeah, are they going to be YouTube exclusive? Are you going to have to wait a month for those? Also, like that, it just said that every episode's going to be on YouTube. So is that going to be an Amazon exclusive thing? Like, there's so many questions.
Yeah. I'm going to go on Prime Video. To be clear, we both have Prime Video, but neither of us pay for it. It's from our parents, so it's different.
I will never buy Prime Video.
No, like, never in my life.
When my parents eventually kick me off, because I don't think they know I'm even on there, I will not be buying it.
I want to see if Helluva Boss is on here yet.
That's a good question. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I think they're starting on season 3. But that also makes me wonder, are season 1 and 2 going to be on it?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Because I feel like legally they can't be.
Right.
Unless they also bought partial rights to that, but I don't think that would work.
I think they specifically said
remaining seasons.
Yeah, they picked it up for 2 more seasons.
Yeah, so then also, like, you're gonna have to watch the first 2 seasons on YouTube still and then go to like that.
Yeah. I
don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like it feels just really slapped together.
Yeah.
And just kind of like Amazon was like, hey, would you be interested in this? And Vivzy was like, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was thought about and discussed to some extent, but it just doesn't feel like enough care went into the decision.
Yeah. And my big worry is quality control. Mm-hmm. I'm worried that there's a few things that I think would be, like, good from it, too. So, first, quality control. I do worry that the animation is going to get worse after we just started getting really good animation. Which sucks.
So good. Like, so noticeably better from, like, the first season.
Yeah.
And then even...
Like Sinsmas especially, like, or not Sinsmas,
Mastermind, exactly.
That animation, like, I seriously doubt under Amazon going to get something like that again.
No.
And then also, and we talked about this in our Has Been Hate Watch video.
Yeah.
But the swearing. How to swear every single fucking second.
Season 3 is gonna be like, hey Moxie, you fucking fuck, you bitch at... Well, okay, Blitz kind of does that already.
Yeah,
but
it's just Blitz, and it makes sense in his character. I just feel like it's gonna be worse. And the dialogue also generally in Has Been, not Helluva Boss, sorry, is just bad.
Yeah.
Like, when there's supposed to be, like, this heated moment, it's, like, Husk being like,
so things look bad.
yeah, I was an overlord once.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's one of those has-been things where if they leaned into it and made it campy, it would be good, but they don't. They're being so serious.
And also with the fact that we've kind of leaned into that just a tiny bit with Helluva Boss recently with, like, I thought I'd never leave the farm line. Like, I feel like that scene is going to be a lot more of the vibe, and no one wants that.
No one wants that. We're gonna finally get, like, more Millie, and it's just gonna be, like, her going, like, oh, fucking shit, my bitch ass, fuck, sick dick.
But the one good thing I do think might come from it, but also will cause quality control issues, is we will probably get more regular releases.
Yeah.
Because I doubt Amazon is going to let Spindle still post, like, sporadically, you know.
Weirdly, though, that's not something they mentioned.
No.
You would think that's, like...
That would be, like, a really big perk.
That would be a really
But
big
that
perk.
might be because because of a deal like this, season 3 might take even more time than it has between other seasons, which on average is, like, 6 months. So watch it be, like, a year. Or some shit like that.
How long was it between season 1 and 2? Because we got into it during season 2.
I think 6 months.
I think it might have been longer.
Maybe longer.
Because it was, like, 6 months between... At, like, the mid-season break for season 2.
That might be what I'm thinking
of.
I just thought it was, like, between the seasons and then also at the mid-season. Like, I thought that's just regular.
Let me see when Aussies came out, because that was the season finale for a while of season 1. Aussies came out on Halloween 2021.
2021, Jesus. Y'all were watching this during COVID.
Yeah, y'all, holy shit. Halloween 2021, and then The Circus came out... Ignore how I'm halfway through the episode for some reason. July 30th, 2022. So, like 8 months?
Okay. Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The thing with the release dates is I feel like it could go either way, and maybe they don't even know yet.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't mention it.
Yeah. Because I remember with Has-Been, and I didn't pay super close attention to this because I didn't care about it then.
Mm-hmm.
But Has-Been, like, it was announced that Amazon bought the show, and then, like, so much time went by, and then it was like, okay, Has-Been Hotel coming to Amazon Prime this summer, and then it was not that summer, It was, like, the January after. So I don't know the reason for them. I've never looked into it.
Yeah, that's also a really good point where, like, as much as a corporation like Amazon would probably want them to be regular, it's still on the team.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I know that, like, indie animation is hard, but I think that's generally a fault of this team is they do not stick to their deadlines.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one thing like if you're going to announce them and then, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's probably ways that it could be more.
I feel like with Helluva, at least in the time since we started watching, they've been better. I think it's just not with Helluva, they don't really announce it. Like, I remember, because they, for season 2, they were like, this is when, like, each of the remaining episodes in season 2 will be coming out. And it's like, this one this month, this one this month. No,
that was great.
And that was great. Before that, I feel like they really didn't give much of a precursory announcement, except on the Twitter, where they were like, hey, episode this weekend. I was like, what, this weekend? And they'd post, like, a GIF.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they didn't really give much. But probably because of all the has-been stuff going on at the same time.
But I think another kind of issue that might come across this is the death of, like, the culture of, like, oh my god, there's going to be a Helluva Boss episode this month. When is it going to come out?
Yeah.
And the speculation and the anticipation, because it's all going to probably come out half and half, just like Has-Been did. Would be my guess. Because didn't Has-Been come out 4 episodes, like, very close succession to each other? Or did it come out weekly?
It was, I don't remember. I don't think they would do that for Helluva, though, because of the whole 1 month in advance thing.
Oh, that's true.
I don't think they're gonna, like, bulk.
That's true. But it's confusing because Amazon has its own, like, structures and things, and I don't see them, I don't see them drastically changing their structures and norms for their platform for this one show, you know?
Yeah, you were right that it was 4 at once and then the other 4. Oh no! Wait, what? It was 4 at once and then the next 2.
2 and then
2.
I think it was supposed to be 4 and 4, but then, like, something happened.
Interesting.
Yeah, but weren't they all in, like, a week or 2? Like, they were very close.
They were very close, yeah. It was January 18th, 25th, and then February 1st.
Yeah.
So, like, 2 weeks between each release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being overwhelmed with the content when it was first coming out because I was like, what? There's so much.
I remember you got through it faster than I did.
Yeah.
I, like, watched the first 2, and I was like, I cannot watch this slop anymore. And then you
Yeah.
were like, did you get to episode 4? I was like, what? What's episode 4?
Because, to be fair, I had a similar reaction, and then I watched episode 4.
Yeah. And then I watched episode 4, I was like, oh, what the... I remember I had, like, my laptop next to my bed, and I was, like, half paying attention, half on my phone, and then I glanced over during, like, Poison, I was like, what the fuck is going... And then I had to, like, rewind and rewatch. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
You know the meme that's, like, someone says something and then they go, anyways, so...
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the whole Poison sequence. Like, just, like, the show is like, la la la, we're funny and we're in hell and that... anyways, so, like, what? It just doesn't fit. But anyway, that was our last episode. Yeah, basically, we're just wondering how it's going to change the show. Hopefully not for the worse, but probably for the worse.
Yeah. We used to be more optimistic on this podcast, which I've learned from re-listening to our past episodes.
Because we cared a lot more and we had a lot more faith in the team.
The hope has died.
Yeah.
we will be pleasantly surprised if things turn out positively. But I think even if the show doesn't suffer in terms of quality, I think it's which I find it hard to believe that it won't, but even if it doesn't, this is a choice that to me seems rooted in a lot of greed, which is also ironic.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mammon.
Hashtag Mammon.
Hashtag Ace Rep.
Don't fucking say that. I am not a Mammon Ace truther.
Asexuality is real and valid, except for that guy. Fuck that guy.
No, literally.
You're faking it.
He's not allowed to be Ace. He doesn't get the privilege.
No, this is just... Oh, I can't say that. This is just like the thing that we were reading that you're working on the other day.
That I'm working on?
You were going to work on.
Oh, yes.
Canon Ace character.
For those of you who don't know, I occasionally am a freelance grant writer, and I'm not even going to say the type of thing.
No, just a thing you were writing a grant for.
And then I ended up not because the team was fucky politically, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
How is it just like that?
The asexuality?
Oh, yes.
There was a...
The, like, villain, but he wasn't really a villain. He was just
kind of a villain.
He was kind of a villain. And what was... I forget what his... I mean, we can't even quote it anyway.
No, yeah.
But it was like, he was like Ace. And it just, like, he didn't need to be Ace. He really didn't need to.
No, I still don't understand how it fits.
And then also everything in the script was just so sexual, like, homosexual.
Yeah.
Sexually charged.
Sexually charged, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that felt very deliberate, too. Yeah. Not even accidental. So it's like, okay, what?
Yeah. Anyway.
Totally sorry for the vagueness. I just had to bring that up.
No, you're good.
Anyway, okay. Crossover, are there any crossovers we're looking forward to, though? Like, assuming that it's in a way that would be interesting to us.
Okay.
Who would you like to see interact?
So this is what I was going to vamp on earlier.
Yeah.
So, Angel, I assume, is the first one. Just given the whole everything about that I already said.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to have something to do with Ozzy, Val, Angel, Fizz. That group.
Ozzy, Val, Angel, Fizz.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love if, like, Angel and Fizz interact first, and then Fizz, like, I think there's a really good and sensitive way they can do it. I think they're probably going to do it in the least sensitive way they can. Yeah, totally. It's going to be, like, trauma porny as fuck, and then Ozzy's going to, like, waltz in and be like, Val, what the hell? And then, like, beat the shit out of him, and then...
Like, hooray, they all lived happily ever after.
Yeah. And then there's, like, no, like... Angel's just not going to be traumatized. Like, there's going to be one scene where he has, like, a flashback, and then he's not going to be traumatized anymore. Like,
the loser baby reprise.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's Fizz, and Fizz is like,
Honestly, no. I don't even have the trust in this show that they'll include Fizz in this. I think it will be Ozzy, and Fizz will just not be there.
Well, so here's my thing. I think they're gonna pick all of the fan favorite characters and throw them together, regardless of if it makes sense. People do like Fizz a lot.
Yeah.
But
not as much as us, though.
Not as much as us. And also, is it gonna be in the way that we want it to be? No, absolutely not. Sorry. Who else?
Another thing that I've seen speculated before this was even released was the Ozzy, Fizz, and then Ozzy, Fizz, Husk, Angel double dates is like a really big thing. Like, I've seen so many fucking fan comics.
That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Well, because they go on a double date, and then like I don't know, Ozzy, like, hears about Val and then beats the shit out of him. Like, that's the premise of all
Yeah.
the...
Oh my god.
The only social media I have on my phone right now is Pinterest, and this is most of it.
Sometimes I hate, because, like, I know in my heart that you and I are the most correct about these two shows. No one else is right. We're living in our own world. But sometimes that's such a burden, because it's like, damn, I wish I could enjoy what y'all are enjoying. This sounds like a nightmare.
I just, every single time I think about ships and, like, fan favorites in the show, I think about the child, teenager, I guess, but young teen that I work with that said that their favorite character is Val. Because, that just sums up the show. Like, if a young audience is like, yeah, Valentino is my favorite, there is something wrong.
You're doing something so wrong, I fear.
Like, quickly, too. Like, didn't even think about it. It didn't have a nuanced reason. Like, if you have a nuanced reason, like, no, just likes him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not like, well, he's a really interesting villain. It's like, no, I like that guy. It's
yeah.
Like, huh?
Like, said interesting design, which I have to agree with. Moth is pretty cool. And then genuinely just likes him, thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
First of all, he's not even that funny, too.
No.
But, yeah.
Okay, anyway, my crossover dreams, not really dreams, but, like, who, if I have to.
Yeah, you did have a hell of a boss dream, didn't you?
Oh, I did. We have to talk about that. Millie and Nifty.
Yes.
They're not going to do it because they hate women, but Millie and Nifty.
Yeah. Or even just Millie at the Has-Been Hotel would be great.
Millie's like, ooh, a bar. Roxy, come drink with me. And then,
Blitz gets, like, a hit at someone in the hotel and has to, like, and they're all there. And then Charlie's like, hey, I am a Nepo baby. Can we not kill? I will send my dad after you.
Yeah, no, for real.
And then Blitz is like, well, fuck. And then they're like, ooh, a bar.
This is the other thing. Oh, also, just, we saw Charlie and Blitz in this announcement, of course.
Yeah.
But more of them, like, in actual canon, I think could be fun. Yeah. As the respective bosses, I guess, of their businesses.
Their business. See, again, they couldn't fully merge the shows. You could have, like, businesses and, like, from a business thing. Like, there's ways to do it that could be cool, but I just don't have faith that it will happen.
My main thing, I cannot see these characters interacting with each other in a way that's not going to make me want to, like, rip my face off because of how cringe and clunky and awkward it is. Even the ones that I think would get along, I just don't, or, you know, would have an interesting dynamic. I just cannot... Because the dialogue, that's why I'm really afraid that Helluva is going to go in the same direction as Has-Been in terms of, like, dialogue and general writing. Yeah. Because right now the tones are very different. And so there's no way for them to merge together in a way that makes sense.
Exactly, yeah. And also, like, there's no core issue that would, like, line up. Like, obviously there's, like, politics, but they're different politics.
Very different.
And they're from very different perspectives. Like, one is very focused on the sinners and saving the sinners, and one is very focused on the Hellborn.
Yeah.
Like, they don't overlap literally at all.
No.
Except for, like, they both hate the Hell government, but in very different ways and for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Also, Lucifer is missing actively in Helluva Boss's timeline.
What?
Which I know that he's supposed to, like, there's this whole thing where people think, because of the last scene in Has-Been that, Lilith is gonna kidnap Lucifer.
Yeah.
And, like, bring him to wherever the fuck she is.
Mm-hmm.
And
fucking beach.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say heaven, but I don't even know if it is. It's just a fucking beach. But
drop your IP.
So then maybe that's, like, they're trying, and you know, that whole, like, Lucifer's throne being empty might have been a seed. Like, maybe this was pre-planned at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, it's fucked up. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I had another thing to say, but I forget now. Oh, yeah. Is there any other characters that would be interesting?
I think Charlie and Stolas.
Yeah. Just Stolas generally.
Stolas interacting with them. Stolas in the Has-Been Hotel. Like, no, but yes. Like,
Why do I feel like Stolas, even though he's, like, a horny motherfucker, Stolas and Alistair... I feel like they would get along well. They both talk all fucky and old-timey.
This is kind of everything to me. Stolas and Rosie.
Stolas is like, oh, you're so charming, darling.
I'm just thinking of specifically the Alistair who lays on Charlie's bed and kicks his little feet. That Alistair and then Stolas. I'm also... So Alistair and Stolas meet, and then we recall the line from the pilot, but my favorite Alistair line,
something something my effeminate fellow.
Yes. Yeah. Also, Stolas, except, like, dangerously off his meds, Stolas just, like, rocking up to the bar, and Husk is like, what can I get you? And Stolas is like, the strongest thing you have. Husk pulls out, like, absinthe, extra absinthe, and Stolas is like, whoa, you're my kind of cat.
And then Angel walks up all sexy, and Stolas is like, oh. No, they're both bottoms. Well,
What?
argued. Most people think Angel's a top.
What?
Mm-hmm.
My genuine reaction.
What? Because people think Husk is a bottom?
What?
Yeah.
I don't think anything about Husk, to be fair.
Yeah.
But...
Well, because there's a whole thing where they're like, it's actually role reversal, and, like, Angel is forced to be a bottom, which, like, I can understand, but also I think... I'm pointing my little clasped hands at you guys. I do think we need to acknowledge that Husk is like 70 years old and he is just a cis man. Man is like scruffy. He probably smells like Baileys.
I just know he reeks.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He smells like fucking straight like house whiskey. That's what he smells like.
Yeah.
And BO.
Yeah.
And
the whiskey I can excuse. BO, absolutely not.
Yeah, but it's like mixed and mingling.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's...
I don't understand.
He's like a vanilla top.
No, exactly. Him and Angel, like, do get together, and then Angel's like, so, what should we do? And Husk goes, straight missionary. Angel goes, what?
I do... This is a less common headcanon. Sorry, I've spent a lot of time on the Pinterest side of the fandom, because the reason I still have Pinterest on my phone is for work, but it is the only thing I can doom scroll on. Mm-hmm. So I fall into so many rabbit holes, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
There's a headcanon where Husk is like Ace adjacent, but he doesn't know what Ace is. So Angel is like, oh, we don't have to have sex, and then Husk is like, why would we have sex?
That's pretty good.
But yeah, it's like a whole thing, like, Angel's very kinky, but, like, enjoys the sweet intimacy of vanilla sex, and then Husk will only have vanilla sex if he has sex.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think any of these are canon is the
No.
thing.
Yeah. Husk really, I don't understand.
I don't.
That's
a kitty.
That's a kitty, and not even a cute one. And I think most kitties are cute. And the ones that aren't cute are ugly in a cute way.
Yeah.
He's just kind of...
He's just there.
He's just kind of a guy.
Yeah. There is, like, the whole headcanon that he purrs.
I don't care.
When they cuddle. Which, yeah, that's another thing. Anyway, there's this...
There's so many... There is a lot of potential here, is the thing we're getting at with the crossovers.
Yes.
There's so many ways it could go. A lot of them would be fun. I fear that they won't be.
Yeah. You know that one episode of Victorious or iCarly where they all cross over?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it's like, everyone was like, oh my god, whoa, this is the best thing ever. But also the episode makes no fucking sense. Like, why is anybody in this space? Yeah. They don't know how to interact with each other. Why do they know each other? Like, it just made no... Like, they're from different cities. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, I remember watching that as a kid and being like, this is cool. What the fuck is happening? Why is this happening? That's how I feel like it's gonna be.
I remember watching that episode as a kid being like, this is the best thing that's ever happened on television. And then when I was like 16, I rewatched all of iCarly and I got to that episode and I was like, that is the worst episode of television I've ever watched in my life. It's not that it doesn't make sense in like a funny way, like where it's like, don't worry about it. It makes no sense. It's not funny.
And they're trying to make it make sense. That's the thing.
And also, this is really funny because Victoria Justice played a character in the iCarly universe previously. She played Shelby Marks, the girl that Carly boxes. Yeah. Which has got me thinking, how many fucking characters is Alex Brightman gonna be voicing in this goddamn Helluverse? He's got Adam, he's got Serpentious, he's got Fizz, he's got a bajillion, like, NPCs in Helluva. Who's the other?
You know, I do think that most of the crossovers are going to happen in Helluva Boss just by the way that the announcement was phrased. Yeah. But I do want Wally Waxford to just show up in a Has-Been episode. That I'm okay with.
That would be really funny. Wally Waxford starts, like, soliciting outside of the Has-Been Hotel. Yeah. And Charlie's like, hey, do you want to, like, rent out a room? And he's just like, no, but you can buy my Blitzo Kill Yourself shirt.
And she's like, we can save you.
We can fix you. Yeah, it is a really fun thing to think about, the crossover. But now that it's actually happening, it's like, fuck, there's no way this is gonna go well, is there?
I would love for it to, but yeah, it's not going to.
Nifty and Millie. Oh, also, I think I can see, like, a Stryker-esque situation. Oh, Stryker would be fun. I don't know with who. I see, like a what's it called? Harvest Moon sort of situation where, like, the Helluva gang is at the hotel, and then Moxie sees Alistair, and he's like, I don't trust that guy, and everyone's like, oh no, Alistair, he's just like that. Moxie's like, no, I think this guy is, like, a sociopathic serial killer, and they're like, no.
And then he goes, you keep forgetting this, I am.
I'm like, love it with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you covering your mouth? You had a visible reaction to something.
This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay.
There's no backing, but Stryker joins the V's.
He becomes Riker.
It's Riker.
We can get Veronica and the V's now. Is she one of the V's, like, canonically, or is that just a thing that I made up in my brain?
I think you made that. She has a separate crew.
Right. But
They're
I feel like maybe she came from the V's somehow or something. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I think the succubi have, like, little gangs.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're all connected. But also,
she's not an overlord or anything.
No.
So, yeah, I guess not.
Which is interesting, because she can't actually be a V. She was never a sinner.
Oh,
she's Hellborn.
Right. Yeah.
The V's are not succubi.
Right. Still would be interesting to see.
But that's...
Veronica and Velvet.
That is another thing, though. We, in Helluva, have no political economy of the sinners, the overlords, nothing. So why are we... Like, there's going to be so much that has to... You either have to watch both shows, or, like, they're going to have to info dump back. Like...
It's not...
I feel like all the things that need to fall into place to make it work just are not worth it.
No. If they had done this at the start, if we weren't 2 seasons deep into a 4-season show, it would be a totally different story. But alas, it's a totally...
Yeah. And I think it depends, too, because, like, again, going back to the Angel thing, how I assume, like, that Angel crossover is going to be in Helluva, and it's going to be something related to Val. Because that's gonna have to be a big plot point now, because, like, confrontation happened and everything.
Yeah.
But also, if it is in Helluva that, like, Ozzy, like, beats the shit out of him or something, because that's, I don't know why I think that's what's gonna happen. That just seems like something they'd do. That feels like a cop-out.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It needs to happen in Has-Been, and it needs to happen well, and but it's not going to.
It's not. Yeah, I don't know, man. I straight up don't know. We have to.
Yeah, let's pivot to Blitz calls the Has-Been Hotel Hash Brown Motel.
Yeah, which honestly, I would go there.
Yeah, that's really good. Also, I really want there to be a place in hell called Hash Brown Motel.
Yes, he just mixed them up.
Yeah.
He's not stupid, guys. He just got his place. I mean, they're on the same street. How is he
there's only 2 hotel motels. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. There is also a Holiday Inn.
Yeah. It's the hats down Holiday Inn. We've gotten so far away from Has-Been.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, as you pointed out, Blitz acknowledges Has-Been Hotel, the show, in this announcement, and Charlie acknowledges Helluva, the show, in this announcement. And, this announcement is not a canon in-universe interaction. That's why they're being all meta with it. But as you brought up...
So if it was canon in the universe,
if this announcement was canon,
is Has-Been Hotel a reality TV show? And then also is Helluva. See, Has-Been makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
Because especially given the Has-Been pilot that was on YouTube, most of that episode takes place with, like, the news... like
mockumentary style.
Yeah, and also, like, Charlie's on the news being like, this is my Has-Been Hotel and I'm opening it, and so, like, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I could see Has-Been Hotel as a reality TV show, especially, like, they zoom in on them from heaven, like, that kind of thing. But how the fuck would Helluva be a reality TV show? It's a telenovela. Telenovela, my bad.
No, so I'm thinking of The Office, which is filmed as a mockumentary, but then in the final season, it's revealed that in the universe of the show, they have been being filmed by real people the whole time, and then they go to see the screening of their show. I would love to believe that.
Yes! That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, Helluva Boss being the office of hell
Yeah.
is so funny.
Yeah.
They are in an office.
Mm-hmm. Blitz is Michael Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Moxie is, I guess, Dwight. Maybe I guess he's like.
I have not seen The Office.
I know he thinks he's a Jim, but he's really a Dwight. Millie's a Pam. None of the women really get much development in The Office, if you can believe it. So it doesn't really matter.
So the same thing.
Oh no, Luna's the receptionist. I guess she would be Pam, but she's not Pam. Anyway, moving on.
Blitz says, "Bitch, I'm a giver." He is Chapel Rowan.
He is Chapel Rowan pilled. Baby, I'm a giver. Yeah. Good. If you haven't seen it, go on our Instagram/YouTube and watch the little short that I made, which is Blitz singing "Hot to Go."
Yes.
I did that so long ago at this point.
It's really good though. Because it's all one clip except for what?
The G. Because he spells
G.
Yeah, he spells shot in Western Energy. So I got the HOT from that. But then he says the word G in, what is it? Oops. And so I had to pull it. So it's just HOTTOG.
Oh, it's really good.
Really funny.
Also the way that Blitz in
Excuse me, sorry.
The way that Blitz in the announcement says "fuck waiting" has been a vocal stim for me. It's really good.
Hotel. Yeah. Also, Blitz just does not know any of the Has-Been characters' names,
really good.
which is really in character. He calls Vaggie Vaguba, Angle Dust, as we mentioned before. The girl?
No,
Who's
the
girl?
cat.
Oh, the cat.
I don't know how girl got in here.
He calls Husk the cat, and then the red guy that everyone's into is Alistair. Which, going back to the reality show thing, Has-Been can't be a reality TV show because Alistair would not approve of that, of them filming all the time. Oh, that's
true.
Maybe it's like a podcast.
Yeah. I really like the end though with Alistair. Like I don't know why but it's one of those things that I'm like, that was a really good choice. Like
it was.
I think about it a lot. Just because the chaos of it, and then Alistair's not good on camera, and then
Alistair just smiling, staring down the camera, and then it's really good.
But I like how, because Blitz is like, he's like, we got Millie, we got Moxie, we got Stillus, we got whoever this guy is. We need to talk about that. Who the fuck was that?
Who the fuck was that little purple guy?
I love him. But then he specifically says, "and fucking Vaguba," which gets me. Like I thought that, I laughed out loud.
It's really good.
Fucking Vaguba.
Fucking Vaguba.
And the cat.
I wonder if he knows Charlie's name.
he called her Chalky.
Great. Yeah. And then also the way that Blitz, like, reels Fizz into frame.
He pulls his arm and then keeps pulling, so Fizz was, like, actively zooming away from him, and he was just like, "You're getting here."
Yeah.
He did not want to be there, and Blitz does not gaff.
No. I feel like the characters in this were chosen specifically, because it is not all of them. Yeah. And I also do think that Angel being mentioned but then left out is important, but I feel like it's safe enough to assume that, like, all of the characters here will be crossed over at some point.
Yeah.
Which is already so much.
Oh, that's way too many.
That's way too many.
Even the Urple guy?
Even the Urple guy. Yeah. But yeah, that's our announcement. Helluva what Amazon, that's the word I'm looking for. Amazon news.
Yes. Let's get into the short because we're like an hour in almost already.
Are we really? Oh my god, we said 30 minutes.
Yeah, oh my god, we have so much. Okay,
a lot of it is very quick. We're gonna talk about the short sneak peek now, so if you don't want to hear that, goodbye. Subscribe on Ko-fi.
Yeah.
Follow the Instagram,
etc., etc. Stay sexy.
Stay sexy.
Right. But yeah, if for those of you who don't know, this was played at Level Up Con, and there's a video, like we said, on YouTube that you can watch.
Yeah. I'll put it on our Instagram if I fucking remember.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a Helluva short number 5. It's called It's Orphan Time.
And I'm assuming it's going to be Mission It's Orphan Time.
Yeah, I would assume, because it is a mission-based one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the premise, I've done more summarizing here than we usually do, just because there's a good chance people haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So Blitz and Luna are taking a hit on a children's entertainer named Mr. Wrigglers, who either...
I know you're a pervert under there. Sorry, he's not?
It does give that vibe.
Yeah.
And he, like, owns this... / works at this thing called Hugging Dove Charity for Dying Orphans and Injured Puppies. which obviously Luna is the big focus of this, so we're gonna get into this. But dying orphans and injured puppies specifically is so fucked up.
It is fucked up. She is emotionally damaged puppy.
Yeah, no, for real. But
or injured, I mean, but yeah.
Yeah. And then Blitz says he wanted to do this mission with Luna because he thought it would be a quick and easy one, so then him and Luna could have the rest of the day for daddy-daughter time.
So sweet.
Which is so sweet. And when he says that, he, like, looks up at Luna with, like, this big smile, and his eyes are all shiny, and I can't tell if it's a tail flick or, like, an excited tail wiggle.
He has both.
Yeah, is the thing. I think it's a wiggle.
Because the flicks are, like, I don't think it's a flick because the flicks are, like, full tail.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, like, a little...
Yeah, exactly. We had the same. Yeah. And then Mr. Wrigglers asks Luna if she happens to be an orphan, and she, like, flinches away, because to be clear, her and Blitz have not realized that this is an orphan place, so she has no idea why this random guy is asking her this. But then she's like, yeah, actually, I am. And he says, isn't that just a wonderful thing that makes you special? And she, like, narrows her eyes at him, like, bitch, what?
To be fair, though, if you walk into somewhere and you're not aware that you're in an orphan charity, whether you're an orphan or not, and somebody asks you, are you an orphan?
Yeah.
How the fuck else are you gonna react?
No, for real. Me, Audie, who is not an orphan, I would be like, what am I doing that gives off orphan energy? What vibe am I putting out?
I wish that it weren't true that I've been told I give off orphan energy. But yeah, I don't know how I'd react either.
Yeah. Blitz falls through the ceiling in an umbrella hat and overalls with a giant lollipop. He's just like me for real. That's kind of the whole point there. Also, he's not wearing his skull necklace here, but this isn't the only time this has happened. Like, there are not a lot, but, like, multiple times where he's, like, in a costume or a disguise and he doesn't have it on, but it still feels notable. Yeah,
especially because, I mean, he's not an orphan. He presumably still has his dad.
Unfortunately.
But, like, I do wonder if he considers himself an orphan.
Yeah.
Because, like, his dad, that's not his, like, a parental figure, really.
Yeah, he honestly might not, like, I doubt he's been in contact with his dad at all since the fire, so he probably doesn't even know if his dad is alive.
Yeah. So then Luna being like, he's an orphan too.
Yeah.
Like, how does Blitz feel about that?
Yeah, she's just covering up for him.
Yeah.
But then what if he's like, damn, I never told her that. And what does she know about my dad?
That'd be really funny if he said that. Like, what, he died?
Ah, shit, my dad died. Did he even leave me any money?
Of course he didn't, that fucker.
That fucking... He probably left it to Fizz. Oh, I gotta call Fizz. Yeah.
Speaking of, we need to talk about your dream, but we'll save that for the end.
Yes. Okay, Blitz, Luna hasn't killed this guy yet, so Blitz is like, why haven't you killed this guy yet? Were you waiting for me? And he looks so happy, because the thought of, like, his daughter waiting for him to kill this guy together is just so sweet to him.
He's like, yay! This is father-daughter bonding.
Yeah. And then, Luna's like, so, like, how, you know, just talking to this guy, and he's like, if I could have a moment just to say goodbye to my kids, and Blitz and Luna talk at the same time, and Blitz says, I think the red-itis will have killed me by then. Yeah. At the same time that Luna's like, yeah, I guess we can let you do that.
Yeah, that's really funny. Also, so, why this guy is so unsettlingly chill is the thing, like, yeah, if that's your wish, man, like,
yeah, because he thinks Luna's an orphan, so he's trying to make her happy.
Yeah, which, like, willing to be killed for an orphan is crazy. Let's just point that out. But then also, like, what is he gonna do? Go to his kids and be like, I'm so sorry, I have to let this orphan kill me now, and, like, then leave? Like
what about, do they have a mom, or are they gonna be orphans now? Like, the orphan distribution system?
Yeah, like,
it is specifically dying orphans that he helps, and so he says this is like a Make-A-Wish thing that Luna's doing.
This Make-A-Wish thing is getting out of hand or whatever.
Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. I'm curious if this guy's gonna actually be chill the whole time, or if he does have, like, a secret. Because, like, someone put a hit on him. Why?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a previous orphan. Like, I don't know.
They did not get their wish.
No. Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, where are we in the notes?
We hear. Bop.
Okay.
Blitz says, would it really be the worst thing to let a dad spend some... No, sorry, Luna says...
I was going to say, Blitz does not.
Would it really be the worst thing to let a dad spend some time with his kids? And Blitz says, that's what I'm saying. This guy's a total dick.
Which is really funny because I assume he thinks that Luna's talking about him and her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like things... Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so... But he don't have multiple kids.
No.
Time with his kids.
Yeah. I also thought maybe, like, he's thinking of how spending time with his own dad would be the worst thing in the world. He's like, oh my god, this guy would spend time with his kids? What an asshole. I would hate it if my dad did that.
Yeah, that's really funny. Well, obviously Blitz wants to spend time with Luna a lot, but, like... I do wonder how that went, though. Like, does Blitz... How long did it take Blitz to learn that people want to spend time with their dads?
Yeah, no, for real.
Or does he think that everyone doesn't want to spend time with their dads and that's why Luna doesn't want to spend time with them?
He's coping. Because, like, I mean, who else has he, like, you know, he knew Barbie, who I assume had a similar relationship with their dad.
And he knew Fizz.
He knew Fizz, who, granted, had a sort of positive relationship with Blitz's dad.
But who the fuck is his dad?
Yeah. And then, Octavia hates Stolas. Stolas hates his dad. Like, there's daddy issues abound. Fipsy Pop, go to therapy.
I was gonna say, name one character that don't got daddy issues.
I can't.
Yeah.
I literally...
Because Millie, like, less so, but still, yes.
Moxie, of course.
Moxie's dad wants to fucking murder him.
I literally, in Husband and Helluva, I can't name one.
You know that meme that's like, or that audio, I guess, that's like, wow, does everyone, like, have daddy issues? And it's like...
Not me. I love my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need one of those.
We need one of those. Please.
Not me. I love my dad.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because how Luna's, like, being nice to this guy and, like, wants him to be able to say goodbye to his kids. You know, obviously there's implications of Luna backstory here, and so I'm curious, like, did she have a good relationship with her parents and her dad specifically, and did she not get to say goodbye when they died or whatever?
Yeah, and I think that leads to, too, like, something we've wondered for a long time. When did Luna go into the system?
Yeah.
The pound. I don't know if the foster system is a thing in hell. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, why did she go in? Was it, like, was she facing abuse her whole life, or, like, did her parents die?
Right. I mean, she specifically says she is an orphan, so I assume her parents are dead.
Yeah.
But we don't know what her relationship with them was like.
Yeah, that's true. And, like, where she came from and all of that. Like, I want more.
Yeah.
And I think we will get a little bit.
Yeah.
But will we get, like, a full backstory on her, do you think?
Eventually. In this short specifically, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
That would feel like such a cop-out if we get it
Well,
all
that's
in
what
the
I'm
short.
saying.
Yeah.
Are we going to get her whole backstory, Millie-style flashback, and then they're never going to address it?
Oh, I fucking hope not, but they would.
That's kind of how it's set up. That's why.
Yeah, I'm curious... Because they gave us the first 2 minutes of a short, and the shorts, I think the longest one we have so far is 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, how long is the short total? How much more is left, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is interesting to me, especially where they usually give, like, an intro of a episode, like a full-length one, or they give a trailer of the season.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did we get... this is... I don't know.
I think it's because they don't have the other stuff ready yet.
Yeah, and also
we're on a season break.
This is the next thing that's coming out, and I get that. But yeah, it feels weird to give us 2 minutes of like a probably 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dropping in late June.
Yeah. Again, listener of the pod, Jessica, previously gave us information that there are going to be 8 shorts dropped between seasons 2 and 3. I think that was revealed at another con or something a little while ago now. I don't remember exactly where and when.
Jessica, love you. You're a little more active in going to things than we are.
Yes, we very much appreciate all of the information you send us. I apologize for not remembering the exact details. But yeah, so if they release one short a month starting in June, then season 3 of Helluva could be as early as February 2026.
Yes.
Which is quite a ways away.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not early.
As early as,
yeah.
though. Like, it could be even later.
It could be later, yeah.
But that's the only sort of timeline we have right now. So we need to do... We're graduating college in June of 2026. Sorry to say those words. So we're going to be doing some thinking, you know... about where this podcast is going to be then, because...
Yeah, because we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and we obviously need to hash it out more.
Yeah.
But for me, I wouldn't want to start a season 3 analysis and then just end it in the middle, or like before that when we graduate. Like, we don't even know that they'll be at halfway yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't feel conclusive or fair to you guys. Like, I would rather leave it at our season 2 being conclusive and then just do some bonuses.
Yeah.
But that said, like, depending on what Audie and I are doing after graduation, we can maybe do probably less frequent, but remote recorded episodes. But then also I know that those are a lower quality than these ones. So yeah, just like feedback from you guys, I guess. Like, what would you, like, what's your priority for the podcast? What do you want the most going forward? What would you prefer in that way?
Yeah, I think we're still at a point where we have fun with it right now. But again, with, you know, we were being a bit doom and gloom about the Amazon thing earlier, and so seeing how that shapes up in the next year or so, that might also make our decision for us in a way, just
because as we've said, if we start not enjoying the show at all, or if it starts being like it's just hate and we're just hating on it, we're not going to do the pod, because it's not productive.
This is a fan podcast ultimately. Most of our critiques still come with love. Yeah,
and again, if there's not going to be anything, like, we have a bunch of critiques with them, we're also like, but this we love and this has potential, but if it gets to a point where that is not something we can do
consistently. But that's thinking ahead, which is important to do. But don't fret, we're not going anywhere yet.
Yes.
Should I talk about my dream?
Yes.
Okay. This was a few days ago now. I had a dream that a new episode of Helluva dropped. Also, I'm pretty sure I had this dream after the Amazon announcement happened, so I don't know why this episode just dropped, like, on YouTube in my dream. That's not how things are going now.
You're coping.
I'm coping. But no, anyway, in the dream, a new episode dropped, and me and Alex in the dream were like, oh my god, are we ready? And we, like, queued it up on one of our laptops, as we tend to do, and we were like, okay, are we ready? I'm not ready, and then we pressed play, and then it opened on Blitz and Fizz as adults, but it, like, very directly paralleled a scene from the show in real life of Blitz and Stolas when they were kids, like this chandelier scene and then, like, the tree scene of when they're kids in the circus. It was a direct parallel to that, but it was Blitz and Fizz as adults in present day. And we were losing our shit, because we were like, they're giving us Blitz Fizz. It's canon. They're giving us Blitz Fizz. And then that's pretty much, they were in, like, some vague purple void. I don't know where they were.
I think I asked follow-up questions. You're like, well, they were in a vague purple void. And I was like, all right.
Because I said it was similar to the chandelier scene. You were like, so what's the chandelier equivalent? I said, I don't fucking know. It was a dream. They were in a space.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much it. Except there's also, every time they talked, their lips moved weird. Like, their lips, like, extended out from their faces. Sort of in the way, like, SpongeBob does. You know when SpongeBob, like, grabs his lips and pulls them out far away from... It was like that.
Yeah.
But it was every time Blitz and Fizz talked, and we, like, didn't address it in the dream at all. And they were also talking in these, like, snooty voices. Like, oh, Blitz.
They're just a list.
But it was, like, normal. And we were just like, oh my god, Blitz Fizz. And didn't address that. And then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then it was really funny because we were in our college dining hall when Audie was telling me this. And then you started, like, drawing parallels and being like to the show, like, literally analyzing it, and I was like, I fear we're cooked with this show, and as people, if you are making theories with the same weight from something you dreamed about.
But there was something that I don't remember it now, but I made a good point.
And I agreed that you made a good point, so I was like, fuck.
This show is, I think what you said was, this show is so nothing if we are getting something out of a dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my dream. I'm sorry if the hype and the build up for that wasn't worth it. It wasn't really much, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It's funny enough that, like, they infiltrated your dreams.
Yeah, I feel like that... I think I maybe had a dream or two about Helluva when, like, we first got into it and I was really into it.
You definitely did, yeah.
I must have. I don't remember them now. But
I feel like I remember you talking to me about, like, a dream with Moxie in it specifically.
Probably, yeah, like, the week that the Moxie episode came out. Yeah. The Moxie episode, X's and O's.
The Moxie episode.
But yeah, that hasn't happened in a while. thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And that's all we got for today.
Yeah. We need to say shout out to Jessica and I almost said Millie because that's the username.
Well, either.
Yeah.
Emily. We love you. Thank you for being supporters on our Ko-fi.
Yes, there are Gowisha tier subscribers, and if you want a shout out at the end of our episodes, subscribe. Also, if you want our content early, Gowishas and Succubi get it a month early, and Imps get it 2 weeks early.
Yeah, so subscribe at any tier. Imps $2.
$2
a month. Succubi $5 a month. Gowisha $10 a month.
Yep.
And no matter which tier you subscribe on, we will love you so much.
Yes.
And then while supplies last, we'll send you a free sticker in the
Yeah,
mail.
I think we have like a few left, right?
Yeah. At any tier.
At any tier. And then also, if you, for whatever reason, want to throw money at us and don't want any perks at all, you can just give us a donation on there.
Yeah, a one-time donation. Feel free. But you won't get anything.
Yeah, well, you'll get like a thank you.
Yeah, we will love you still.
Yes. But yeah, and then the Instagram is it
Helluva _podcast.
Yeah, at Helluva _podcast. We rebranded, which we talked about last time, I think.
Yeah.
But
if you go to AA discussions, that's a separate account now, and it will just direct you to Helluva podcast.
Yes.
The other one. So hopefully you can find us.
Yes.
But yeah.
And then, do you want to tell them what you're working on, the compilation?
I am working on a compilation that I was supposed to have out, like, so long ago. It was supposed to be for our 2-year podcast anniversary. Didn't get it done in time. Still working on it. But it's a compilation of our best podcast moments. It will be out in the month of May 2025. So there's a good chance it's already out by the time you're listening to this.
And it will be YouTube?
YouTube. And... No, just YouTube.
Yeah, and we're at Helluva Podcast on there, right? I think.
Yeah.
No underscore.
Yeah,
so check us out. And then also on our Instagram, again, at Helluva _podcast, we have our link tree, and that has everything. So, yeah, like if you're like, what's your YouTube? Or like, what's Audie's personal website? Like, that's on there.
You can look at my YouTube channel.
Yes,
where I'm
that's
doing
popping
numbers.
off right now, yeah.
I'm almost to 2,000 subs. Let me see if I hit it.
Go subscribe to Audie, to Arnie Lagooby.
Arnie Lagooby on YouTube.
Whoa.
Why is Dan and Phil on my page?
You know why. You know what you are.
I know what I am.
Anyway, anything else?
You already know what I'm gonna say. Stay sexy.